All right, we're set. We're in spotlight. Good. Hi, everyone. I just want to take a moment to say that I'm so happy that we are running this webinar right now. And I'm just going to check, make sure all my settings are on. I'm going to make sure everyone is in who needs to be in the meeting chat. I am here. Okay. I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. What I would like to do actually at this moment is just to let Farwa quickly introduce herself, and then we're going to go into Raj from there. So I'm going to have Farwa switch for a moment, replace Spotlight. Hi, Farwa. How are you? Can you please? I love how you're virtually at Kweller Prep right now. That's really okay.
Thank
So if
you.
just take a moment and tell us. Go ahead, please.
Hi. Yeah,
So
of course.
tell us
Hi,
about.
everyone. My name is Farwa. I am a sophomore at Stanford University, and I matched through QuestBridge. So that is a 4-year full ride to this university. I am a math major, and I will be pursuing it with an econ minor. I am a first-generation student. I also am an immigrant. I came from Pakistan back in 2012, with my parents having completed middle school and not high school from back Pakistan. So not very, educated. But yeah, that's me.
Wow, that's so cool. Actually, one of our other favorite tutors, we have more than one favorite. Raj, you're sort of on the list, but she's also from Pakistan, Mayroz Ahmad. I just want to put it out there that we have more than one, but you are a favorite as well. So I just want to share that with you. You're in the favorites list. With that being said, if you could, because I know that you have a class, you said you have a college class at 7:30. So if you could just quickly tell everyone, just wish them good luck with the application. And if you could just quickly kind of give a synopsis of what you feel they should know before they begin the QuestBridge application journey, because you were very successful. You got into Stanford. And if I'm correct, it's a transferable scholarship. Is that correct? Like it could go to any college, any school. Is that correct? The QuestBridge scholarship is valuable for any of the colleges, right?
It's for the partner schools that are part of QuestBridge, which is 50 plus universities. So
Very good. So just to confirm, everyone should hear and know that Farwa received the QuestBridge scholarship in its entirety. And how much is your tuition? Like, what is your tuition in the end for Stanford University, which is like how much? $80,000 a year.
yeah.
So how much does the scholarship cover? Like 80%, 90%, 100%?
No, the scholarship covers 100% of the tuition, as well as boarding, housing, dorms, food. Everything is included in the scholarship, and they even give me a plane ticket back home for twice a year. So that's super cool.
That's so cool. I'm really, really happy. Amazing. So they give you a full scholarship and they give you a plane ticket to go back home twice a year. So you just
Yeah.
like get money on top of money from the scholarship, which is
Yes.
amazing. If you could just quickly give everyone a minute of your like wisdom, like what should they definitely know getting into this QuestBridge scholarship application?
I would definitely say keep in mind to what schools you want to apply to. I know they extended the pool to up to 15 schools this year, but do not feel pressured to apply to 15 schools. You do have a very limited time from the time you find out that you are a finalist to the time that you actually apply to colleges. So don't feel pressured to apply to all 15. Try to pick a couple and do those applications really, really well, because you literally only have 1 week between the 2 points. So you don't want to do a mediocre work on 12 colleges. It's better to do really well on 5 college applications. So definitely say take your time, research the school, research the partners, and decide whether QuestBridge is for you or not.
That's so great. I just want to remind everyone that Farwa is from Queens, New York, 10 minutes from Kweller Prep Tutoring. I do want to share that with you that Farwa is local from Queens and she's a first generation, and her parents do not have PhDs or MDs or any fancy letters next to their names. Did they go to college, or what am I
No.
remembering? Her
Yeah, they
parents
went
did
to
not
middle
go to
school.
college.
Yeah, they completed middle school and that's it.
So I just want to share with you that you are so goals, Farwa. We are so impressed with you. And
Thank
we really
you.
just want to take a moment to thank you, because I know that you have class in a few minutes. So we're going to let you exit out. I can't believe I'm letting go of you. It's so painful. But I just want to share that we're so lucky that you are a great role model, who went to Townsend Harris High School, who went to who is at Stanford University, who went through the QuestBridge application process. And thank you so much for letting us really share your life and your bio and your blood type and all of the information that we need to understand this huge scholarship application. And we're going to miss you for the rest of the webinar. Raj is going to
Thank
take
you
over
so
from
much.
this point, but thank you
And
for
shout
being
out
the voice
to,
of wisdom.
yeah, of course. Shout out to Kweller Prep for helping me through my journey. You know, they were very supportive. I did take my SAT classes back in 2021 with Kweller Prep. So it was definitely a big part on them to help me with my future. So shout out to
We do
Kweller
want to
Prep.
share that. Thank you so much for reminding everyone that you took SAT prep at Kweller, that you worked so hard on top of being a successful high school student. You also chose to take the SATs. You excelled. You did great. And I'm so happy that you are in this virtual classroom that we're looking at right now. It looks pretty good. So thank you for all of your hard work and your effort, and not only for being someone who speaks about QuestBridge, a successful candidate, but someone who really went through such a hard journey. You're truly a role model right now. And we really need good, positive role models. We need more of you, like, in this world. You're just an incredible person. It is such an honor to know you and to have you as part of this webinar, and for good luck. We wish you a very successful second year at Stanford. We wish you a lot of just really positive energy coming your way. And we definitely want to share with you that you are always leading by example. And we are so lucky to have this special moment right now where you are here leading us by example. Have a great semester. We hope to see you again soon. And you can wish Raj good luck. He will be taking over the rest of this webinar. Okay. So I have it right now. Oh my God, did you just do a round of applause? That's so cute. Look at that. He just did a round of applause. So I'm going to replace the spotlight. Here we go. Okay. Hello. Welcome. All right. So we're taking over from here. Hello,
Hey,
Raj.
Francis.
Okay. Hey, what's up? All right. How's MIT, Raj?
It's fantastic. I'm having an absolute blast.
That is so cool. So everyone, Raj is from Queens, New York, 2 minutes away from Kweller Prep. You see, Kweller Prep is the epicenter of the world, but I'm just kidding. What I was saying was, I'm very happy to share that Raj is a local from Queens, and from Queens, he went on to, actually, he went to baccalaureate for 7th and 8th grade. And then from there, he went to HSMSC, which is located in the Bronx. It's close to Bronx High School of Science. So I just want to share with you from there, he applied for QuestBridge, and he's going to do the slideshow for the QuestBridge webinar. I also do want to share that we've known Raj since the 6th, maybe even the 5th grade. He attended Kweller for the Hunter program. So this is interesting. Raj is someone who took the Hunter class at Kweller, did not get in, but look at what a successful outcome he had. So I really just want to share that as well. This is a great opportunity to really take it all in and say, look, Hunter wasn't for you, but look, QuestBridge was, right? And these applications, and MIT was, and HSMSC was, and traveling to the Bronx for high school was so worth it, because look at that great scholarship you got in the end. So this is such a great opportunity for us to share that if one path is not for you, guess what? Another path is. All right. So Raj, if you could take a moment, please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm Raj, currently a senior at MIT studying computer science, economics, and business analytics. I'm originally from Queens. I grew up in the same building that Kweller Prep was first located in Parker Towers. And that's how I really first learned about what Kweller Prep was. My sister Neha also worked there as a tutor for a long time. And so she introduced me as well to Francis and everyone else in the Kweller Prep staff. I, as Francis mentioned, was a student for the Hunter Prep class. And I learned a lot, honestly, even though I didn't make it into Hunter, it was still a learning experience. And it was honestly my first standardized exam prep class. And so just going through that whole process, and especially within the ecosystem of Kweller Prep, where all the tutors are honestly just renowned and accomplished in their own way, I just learned so much about, the kind of ecosystem, the school-wide ecosystem within New York City. Got really great advice, and I honestly do not think I would be where I am here without Francis and Kweller Prep. So really grateful to be here and just talk about my experience with QuestBridge.
We're just so extremely lucky that you're hosting this webinar, that you're sharing it. I just want to remind all of you and everyone who is listening, this webinar is going to outline what to expect on the QuestBridge webinar. This is specifically an outline geared towards students in grades 9, 10, and 11. The QuestBridge application itself is something you apply to in 12th grade, and part 1 of the application closed September 28th of 2023. So I just want to give everyone a timeline in terms of the date of the application. This is a wonderful webinar to listen to right now for students in grades 9, 10, 11 to plan proactively. In terms of the deadlines for QuestBridge, they're very sharp, which Raj is going to go over with you, but he's going to begin. I just want to share with all of you that the QuestBridge for senior year deadline was on September 20th. It already passed. So I just want to be very well defined with how this works. But there are other scholarships which are excellent. It's just not one of these. All right. So go ahead, Raj. Do you need to screen share? Let me know if you need any of my help.
Yeah, definitely. I think I should be all good.
I also want to take a moment while we're going to share with you, we have a very high turnout, especially, and I really just want to take the members, especially obviously members from all schools, but really I do want to share the Forest Hills High School community. And I just want to also share with you, we have Townsend Harris representation and we have Brooklyn Tech and Bronx Science. I really just want to thank all of you for making time to be here. And just to know that we're really lucky because we have great role models, leaders, and examples. I think it's also fair to say that a lot of the news is very hurtful right now and painful to watch. So I do hope that all of your friends and family and loved ones are safe and well. And I really just want to take a moment to truly express how grateful we are at this moment to have role models, to have leaders, to have future positive examples. Raj is a future leader. And Farwa, who left, is a future leader, and Sadipta, who's joining later, is a future leader. And I just really just want to give you such a heartfelt thank you because you are really the brightest of the bright in terms of futures. And during such a solemn time in history, I think it's very important and appropriate to address that these moments are especially important and meaningful. So please continue, and thank you for all that you're doing and all the heart that you're putting into this webinar. I'm going to put myself on mute at this time so that you can proceed.
Thank you, Francis. So now we're officially going to get started with the QuestBridge program webinar. I would usually present this with Sadipta and Farwa. Unfortunately, Farwa had to leave early. Sadipta should be coming in soon, but I'm going to get us started. So right now, I'm just going to begin with a general overview of what QuestBridge is. So it's a nonprofit based out of Palo Alto, California. Their mission, they were founded in, they actually were founded in 1987. So around 30 plus years ago. And their mission since their founding was to increase the percentage of exceptional low-income high schoolers across the country who come from underrepresented communities and do not have necessarily the resources or the network to reach to their highest potential. And so QuestBridge as a whole, as an organization, helps provide these students with access to top-tier colleges and professional opportunities. And there's an emphasis on the college admissions process because success is really defined from a young age, especially the period going from high school to your undergrad is an especially formative time. And so if you can, QuestBridge's ideology is that if you can put kids on the right path, starting from high school, going into undergrad, then they'll be successful thereafter. And so one of the core features really of what QuestBridge offers is the College Prep Scholarship, which is a program specifically for high school juniors, and it takes place in the summer after their junior year. And it includes a scholarship to an on-campus summer program at one of QuestBridge's college partners. And then within that program, you basically stay, I think it's around a week or so on campus at this college partner, and you get help on your college app, you get essay feedback, you get access to workshops, you get to meet other college prep scholars, other National College Match finalists or individuals who were accepted into QuestBridge. And you just really get to build out your network as a student. And I think it's an exceptional program. I didn't apply, but I had a few friends that went through it, and they had fantastic acknowledgements for it. But the core feature of this webinar today is not going to be the prep scholarship. It's going to be the National College Match program. And as Francis was going over earlier, that is a separate application from the Common App, from the Coalition app, that's held independently by QuestBridge that takes place in the senior year of your student's high school career. And so essentially it's an independent application. And so everything that I'm going to talk about here is going to be very different than what the timelines that you might have heard for other colleges in terms of their Common or Coalition app or even other colleges who have independent applications. QuestBridge itself is a very independent, unique process and feature and organization. So just want to go over generally, before I go into the application itself, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the organization and how it formed. But again, it was founded in 1987. It started off as SMYSP, or the Stanford Medical Youth Scholarship Program, which was a 5-week summer enrichment program at Stanford Medical School for low-income youth in the Palo Alto area. And then going into 1994, so as the first few years progressed, they had cohorts around 20, 30 students from the local area, saw how successful the program was, saw the appeal within the local community and also the engagement they were getting from students from these low-income backgrounds. And it then kind of transformed into this wider educational outreach program that included not just medical school enrollments, but also enrollments into schools for the natural sciences. So they had the Stanford Environmental Youth Scholarship Program that focused on students who were interested in environmental sciences and climate change and social justice from that angle. And then it also began to expand into other fields like law, engineering, and public policy. And from Stanford, these kind of outreach programs began to kind of pop up at other universities. So the next place it popped up was at Harvard in 1996. And then from there, now you had 2 successful instances of these outreach programs. And that's when Quest becomes an official nonprofit organization in 2000, as they see the success that's come about from these instances at Stanford and Harvard. And it expands its outreach goal from 20 to 40 students in the local areas within the colleges that they're partnered with. So at the time, it was just Harvard and Stanford. Now they're expanding their goal from these 20 to 40 students into several thousands of students across the country to give these students the opportunity to attend these schools and, if anything, get a chance to explore the campuses, meet other students there, and just get a sense of what it's like to achieve a sense of higher education at these prestigious universities. And then in 2003, the National College Match Program is officially started. And the initial partners from 2003, QuestBridge was able to recruit further colleges: Amherst, Rice, Grinnell, and Wheaton. And then in 2005, the Quest for Excellence is released. So that offers further support and resources for high school juniors from unique cultural personal backgrounds. So this is really the college prep scholarship prelude. And then from 2005 to the present day, so we start off with kind of this prelude, first example of the college prep scholarship, and the National College Match Program is initiated. And then within the last 18 years, QuestBridge has grown as an organization due to its outreach success, due to its exemplary marketing and networking availability. So there's various individuals who've become acquainted with QuestBridge due to its mission and due to how inspiring the organization is and what it's trying to do. And so to the present day, there are 50 plus college partners. There are many private and public foundations that are partnered with QuestBridge, and it's now become a nationwide phenomenon within the college application process. And so generally, how's QuestBridge run? There's a staff of 46 individuals. There's 10 individuals on the board of directors, including the co-founders, Michael McCullough and Anna Malari. There's QuestBridge itself. You have the board of directors. You also have teams of academic, business, and legal advisors. You have an East and West Coast advisory board, and there are thousands of private and public philanthropic donors, including Apple, Stanford Law School, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so you can already sense kind of the pull and authority that QuestBridge has gained in such a short period of time. And so now I'm going to start going over kind of more in depth on the program's current stance. So there's 50 plus college partners that range across various disciplines and specializations. So you have private liberal arts colleges such as Amherst, Bowdoin, Colby, Hamilton, etc. You also have schools within such as Boston University. You have Northwestern, you have Brown, you have schools located within kind of large urban regions. And then obviously you have the Ivies, you have UPenn, you have Princeton, MIT and Stanford, which aren't technically Ivies, but are associated on that level. And so just the range of colleges that are available within QuestBridge's network is just fantastic. You also have state schools like UVA and USC. And so there's just tremendous opportunities available within QuestBridge's network, and it's just continuing to grow. So what is the National College Match Program? It's a college admission scholarship process through which high-achieving low-income students have special access to QuestBridge's partner colleges. And so the first step This is honestly the most publicized part of the National College Match Program is the actual match enrollment process, which is a full 4-year scholarship to a college partner. And so you can see in these images, in the leftmost image, that's Farwa's image, because she was matched to Stanford. And that's the most well-known aspect of the process. And that's what kind of the first goal that many students who are accepted into QuestBridge as National College Match finalists
Roz,
are
okay, we
aiming
need to
for.
take a pause. We need to take a pause. Everyone, Farwa is on the QuestBridge website. This is so cool. I just want to take a moment to take this picture. Woo! How cool. I'm very impressed. All right, everyone, we can proceed. All right, go ahead. I'm going back on mute. I will now be quiet.
That's awesome. We have to put that, we have to add that image to the slide deck. So essentially, right, we have the match process, but the match process isn't the only component for the National College Match Program. You can also get admitted to partner schools through EA, ED, or regular action processes, and that comes after the National College Match process. So I'm going to go over the timeline, and in total, just want to emphasize that even though the match process is the most kind of highlighted part of QuestBridge, it's not the only way that your student can get admitted to these schools. And even if you don't get matched, I personally was not matched to MIT, but I was admitted through the EA process. And most QuestBridge scholars actually make it into schools during either the early decision, early action, or the regular decision, regular action processes. And in these cases, you're not guaranteed a full or 100% coverage, but you are guaranteed everything up to your expected family contribution. So in my case, I am getting 95% coverage, which is essentially, which is way more than I could have asked for. So now we'll start off with the process. So Francis mentioned this year's QuestBridge application is already closed. The current timeline you're seeing here is for this year. They will update their timelines for next year, but we do not have those dates right now. So I unfortunately cannot tell you what those dates will look like for next year, but just to give you a sense of what the process looks like generally, usually in the summertime around mid to late July, they open up kind of the QuestBridge application for the upcoming year. In late summer, you will start this application. And then by September 26th, usually within that process, you have to complete all of the QuestBridge application requirements, and I will be going over those as well. But this is the first step into getting admitted into the National College Match Program. So you have to first be essentially vetted by QuestBridge as a finalist. And this application is due, usually it's September 26th. Just think of it generally one of the last days of September. So you have around 2 months to really complete this application. And then from there, by October 12th, you rank up to 15 college partners out of the 50 that QuestBridge is partnered with within its network. And these 15 partners are ones that you would be willing to attend if you were matched with these schools. So again, you don't have to list all 15, but you want to make sure that every single partner that you do list is one that you're willing to get admitted to and one for whom you can submit and complete requirements for within the given time period. And so before you're able to find out that you are a finalist, you have to submit these rankings. And then just around a week later, that's when finalists are notified. And it's currently October 12th. So for any students who are submitting this year's QuestBridge application, you probably have already ranked your 15 college partners and you will get notified very soon of your finalist status. But essentially those who are nominated as finalists, usually it's around, in my year, it was 1/3 of all the students who submitted the QuestBridge application were nominated as finalists. And those who are nominated as finalists are then able to proceed in the process. So now they have all the benefits that QuestBridge offers. So you don't have to pay application fees. You have access to, you can use your QuestBridge application as a substitute oftentimes for the Common App or for other applications to submit to any of the partner colleges. And you can also, a lot of times, sometimes you don't even have to write supplements for some of these schools. And so it really does save a lot of time. It saves a lot of effort and stress. And it's great to have on your application in general and just know personally that you are nominated as a finalist. By November 1st, really tight deadline, you have to submit your match requirements. So this includes any required supplements, financial aid forms, any further academic documents, and further kind of requirements that individual schools might need. So it's a very tight deadline, around 2 weeks. And so this is why Farwa was saying earlier, usually you don't want to rank all 15 schools. You might just want to stick to a group of maybe 5 to 7 that you think you can get all the requirements done in time for. And then from November 1st, once you submit your match requirements, December 1st is match day, right? So this is the first part of the process. This is when you find out whether or not you were matched to a school. And this implies that 100% of your tuition, usually room and board, usually any sort of extraneous fees, not just room and board, not just tuition, but also, food, books, travel, all of that is covered generally when you're matched. And I would say around like 10% of finalists, 10 to 15% are matched. The other 80%, we'll say, usually don't get matched, and that's totally okay, because essentially you just continue in the process, and you can then resubmit your applications to those same schools, so to those college partners, through the EA or ED processes after December 1st. So I like to think of the match process as not really another way to, or another kind of stage in the process. So it's really like match, EA, ED, and then RA, RD, which usually most students who submit applications through the Common or Coalition app don't have that kind of match phase in their process. So I just think it's an additional benefit. And then December 10th, that's when you would submit the regular decision form to be considered for admission for regular decision. And then basically there's two separate phases. So you would submit the requirements for EA and ED, usually in around mid-December, and then the requirements for regular decision are also around that time period. And you then get notified within a few weeks. A lot of times the notification process is much earlier than those who are submitting, again, through the Common App or Coalition app. So you also have that accelerated understanding of whether you were admitted or not. So, okay, so generally we're academic considerations for individuals who are accepted into QuestBridge as finalists. So they want to see that the student is taking the most challenging courses available in their school. So usually honors, AP, IB level courses, and they're primarily getting A's. You don't have to have a perfect GPA as long as you're putting yourself in the kind of in a state of academic rigor and you're challenging yourself. That's what QuestBridge wants to see. Class rank, some schools have this, some schools don't, but just a baseline metric, they want for the student to be in around the top 5 to 10% of a graduating class. Also, in my year, standardized test scores are more heavily prioritized. I know recently they've kind of become less of a requirement in the process and less emphasized, but always helpful as well to add in a standardized test score as a baseline metric. 75% of those who are admitted into the College Prep Scholar program, so that's the program for high school juniors in the summer before their senior year, 75% of those scholars who were admitted scored above a 1260. So that's kind of a baseline metric that you can keep in mind for the standardized test score requirements for the SAT, and correspondingly for the ACT, it was a 26. So any sort of exam scores that you would want to showcase to QuestBridge, that you would want to submit, not just to QuestBridge, but also to the college partners during your college application process, would definitely recommend submitting all of those. And then additional criteria, writing ability, spark determination, are obviously also included. And then financial considerations. So QuestBridge inherently is for low-income, high-achieving students. So they want to know that you are coming from a position where you have faced some sort of struggle, or your family has gone through some sort of difficulties. And a large component of this is oftentimes financial instability. And so they want to understand what your family is going through. So they're going to want to know your household income, assets, non-custodial parent income and assets, and the circumstances. And so generally, they really kind of want a snapshot of what's going on with your family from a financial perspective. And so we went through academic considerations, we went through financial considerations, and now personal considerations. A lot of times, many college prep scholars, many national college match finalists are among the first generation in their family to attend a four-year college. Farwa was among the first generation in her family to attend a college. I myself am also among the first generation in my family to attend a four-year college. And so, these kind of circumstances, oftentimes it's hard to reflect in many of the kind of standardized applications like the Common App, like the Coalition app. And so this is really why QuestBridge exists, to prioritize advocating for students from these types of backgrounds. And in terms of activities, a lot of QuestBridge National College Match finalists usually participate in extracurricular community-wide activities. And so these could include, getting involved with clubs in your school. It could include volunteering at a community service, could include working a job, could include family responsibilities, etc. A very wide spectrum of possibilities. Also want to know about honors, awards, achievements that your student has attained, and then personal traits. So they kind of get a sense of this from your essays, but just like how is the student? What are their positive traits? What type of person are they? Why do they want to succeed? And what have they gone through? And so now I'm going to provide an overview of the various parts of the application. So there are a lot of similar components to the Common App, but the essays are unique and they usually have to be tailored specific to the prompt. So it's not really feasible to reuse your personal statement. You can definitely kind of recycle some ideas from maybe supplements or even parts of your personal statement, but this really is its own application process. So the different components that you would need to keep in mind are information on academics, activities, the student's household, and the student's financial background. There are 2 essays, so one is 800 words, one is 500 words. And then there's short answers as well. So you have 2 200-word responses, and then you have a series of 35-word responses. You need 2 teacher recommendations, school report, school profile, and your current high school transcript. And then finally, any test scores that you may want to submit. So now I'm going to go into a breakdown of the application, starting off with the household background. So I have screenshots of my application from when I submitted and went through the process that I have in this slide and the corresponding slide, just to give you a sense of kind of the information and the layout of the application. But this is really this current slide here, just very basically about who the student is, where they come from, their ethnic, religious, racial background, who their parents are, their educational background of their parents, whether they have siblings, what their siblings are up to, and any kind of information about the household itself. And then from there, now they ask about kind of the student's current academic background. So starting off with, what are they up to in their senior year? So I attended the High School of American Studies at Lehman College, which is the other specialized high school in the Bronx. That's not Bronx Science. And essentially, I just went over my GPA. I went over classes I was taking. So I was taking 3 AP classes. I took econ. I took government. I was taking a dual enrollment class at Lehman College, which was right across the road from us. And then also, any honors or academic interests that you want to relay. So in terms of honors, usually being an AP scholar, that's relatively common, I would say, amongst QuestBridge finalists. So that's always good to include. I also had like a few certificates that are given to me by teachers for just outstanding performance in some of my classes. So I really love physics when I took it in high school. And so I was given a certificate of excellence. I also added that. I was nominated as the most improved player on our varsity tennis team. And so I also added that. So a lot of these honors, they don't have to be like official recognitions on like a state, national, regional level. They can even be just school-wide kind of acknowledgements. And then in terms of academic career interests, at the time, I really loved math and physics. So I thought I wanted to do mechanical or civil engineering. Decided that wasn't, in the end, I'm not pursuing that now, but that's what I thought at the time. And it's okay that, you really want to put what your student is interested in at the time. You don't want to put in an academic interest that wouldn't really correspond well with the student's profile and with the student's background. And so at the time I expressed a lot of interest in math and physics. And so the academic areas of interest I put in here were engineering, math and stats, and then CS. And it's okay if like you don't end up sticking to those requirements. They just want to know what the student is curious about learning and pursuing at this current stage. And then here, this is kind of just your standardized test reports. So how did you do on the AP test? How did you do on the SAT? How did you do on SAT2 subject tests? If you took any IB exams, the TOEFL, ACT, etc. And this is pretty self-explanatory. So you just add in the test that you took, when you took them, and the score that you got. I like to recommend that even if, your student wants to go for computer science or they want to go for history, I think it's always helpful to have a range of different subject test scores. So even if the student already knows what subject they want to pursue, I think it's helpful to have that range. So it shows that they have a broad kind of spectrum of academic interests. And so that was really my goal here. Obviously I wanted to show that I was proficient at math and physics, but I also want to emphasize that, engineering was my only interest. I also really loved history. And so I also added in kind of that subject test report as a supplementary part of my application to show that I was kind of, my profile was more holistic. And then here you just include your transcript. This you can usually get from guidance counselor. Pretty straightforward. And then now moving into part 3, this is when they begin to ask about the students' extracurriculars and activities that they're up to. So they usually ask you to rank 5 activities that you want to emphasize, you want to highlight. So even if you're involved with more than 5, you really want to try to hone down and figure out what 5 are most relevant, most significant to you. And so I'm just going to go over a few of mine here, but the top activity that I wanted to emphasize was my parents own a small business in Brooklyn. It's a brick and mortar store. They sell greeting cards, party goods, lottery tickets. It's a very simple kind of business. But it was very impactful for me when I had the opportunity as a high schooler to help them out in their store. And so I would go every weekend for a few hours just to spend time, at the cash register, helping them restock inventory, talking with customers, getting to know kind of who their clientele was and just trying to help them out and contribute to our family in some component, even though I was young. So that was the first thing I wanted to highlight. And note that it is a family responsibility and it's totally okay to have family responsibilities, and would definitely recommend adding in kind of non-conventional activities. I think that's shows a different side to your profile. I also added in as my second activity that, I love to play tennis. I had been playing tennis at the USTA since I was around 6-7 years old. I was almost a ball boy for the 2018 US Open, and I was on my school's tennis team, and my senior year, I was one of the co-captains. So that was another activity I want to emphasize. And so the idea behind showcasing these different activities is, what is the student interested in? What do they do outside of classes? And ideally, the question becomes, how would they get involved on their college campus if they're admitted? So this is really what college admissions counselors are thinking about when they see activities like this. So is the student kind of making time to do things outside of classes, and how would this translate if we were going to admit this student to our college? And then part 4 is financial status. So this is where you just include details about household income and assets that your family owns. So I'm going to skip through this part because a lot of it is just very financial jargon from the 1040 and various tax statements. But part 5, what I want to go over is the written responses. So the first feature of the written responses are the 200-word essays. So at the time, the prompts for these essays, and I think they were the same for this year's application, but the 2 prompts that I had were, tell us about one of your proudest achievements or moments and what it says about you. So for this prompt, I wrote about my first experience kind of joining our school's Model UN team, and then competing in a conference at Columbia University. At the time, I didn't really enjoy public speaking at the time, which was kind of ironic, and deciding to join the Model UN team, very unconventional, but I wanted to really branch out of my bubble and just get more experience talking in large groups and advocating for, certain points. And I thought it would be a really fun way to do that. And this was my first conference. It was the fall semester of my sophomore year in high school. And I had very little background going in, but I put in a lot of work. I was given kind of I was given the position of a country that oftentimes doesn't really get advocated for. So Kyrgyzstan, I was representing them for a committee involved with sanctions on Iran at the time, because the US had implemented sanctions on Iran for possible possession of nuclear weapons. And so it was a tough conference, but I'd done a lot of research on my position, and I tried to act collegial. and I tried to compromise between different sides' viewpoints. And in the end, I won the Best Delegate Award for the work that I put in and for the vibe that I had brought when I was debating, when I was speaking with other delegates. And it was just a really proud moment for me because it showed me that it really highlighted the potential I had for public speaking, for leadership. And that was kind of a moment that I wanted to highlight for the application. And then the second prompt was, if you could meet a character from a book or a historical figure, who would it be? And what would you ask them? So for this prompt, it took me a little while to think about this, but the High School of American Studies, which is the school I attended, was a school focused on American history. And so we spent 3 years learning kind of the depth of American history from kind of the colonial period to the start of the American Republic to the 1800s with Andrew Jackson, the Industrial Revolution, the Civil War, et cetera. So we really learned in depth about American history. And so we spent a lot of time learning about particular presidents as well. So one of the presidents who stood out to me was Harry Truman. He just had a really unconventional background, and he was elected as a politician in 1945. He was elected to be president, and just learning about his background, he really was the common man. And the level of social mobility he was able to attain, starting off as a farmer in Missouri, now elected to president of the United States, I think it was just real inspirational. And I wanted to highlight that perspective and what it meant to me. And then the second set of short responses, I want to go over the 35-word prompts. So some of the questions they ask here, these are a bit lighter in tone. So what is your favorite subject? What are your favorite books? Source of inspiration? How do you spend a typical weekend? What compliment are you most proud of receiving? How do you rejuvenate after a challenging experience? And what would you contribute to your future campus community? And so for these responses, you really want to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck here because you only have 35 words. But you also want to ensure that you're not fluffing your responses. You are giving genuine answers. So for the first question, so what's your favorite subject? I said, I love to study math because there's inherent logic. And when you deduce how to get the answer, you feel a sense of pride that can't be replicated. And this was a genuine sentiment that I felt about math because coming from a school that focused on American history, I didn't really had at the time a lot of experience studying math in deep rigor. And so what had drawn me to STEM, what was drawing me to STEM at the time was kind of this logic, this rationale, this inherent framework, the idea that there was a right answer that you could get to as long as you followed the appropriate steps, as long as you planned out your structure appropriately. This is kind of the idea I was going for, to emphasize that even though I went to a history school, I still love to study math. And another prompt I'll just quickly go over here is after a challenging experience, how do you rejuvenate? So this is the answer I have here, still true to this day, but I just mentioned, given as students, we have especially those who are admitted to the National College Match Program, a lot of students nowadays, you obviously have classes, you have extracurriculars, you have family responsibilities, sometimes you have a part-time job, there's a lot of things going on. So I really asked myself for this question, when I have free time, what do I do? Or how do I find myself kind of when I'm really feeling tired, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, how do I find myself rejuvenating? And I was honest, I said I take power naps, I do yoga, I would walk back and forth. Obviously it's not the most refined answer, but it was honest, it's genuine. And to this day, I honestly still do the same things. So I think and you guys can feel free to read through the rest of these. But in total, these responses, I think, show a much lighter side to your profile. And you have a lot of wiggle room here to showcase sides of your personality that in some of the other essays might be a little bit more difficult. So now I'm going to move on to the 800-word essay. So this is the kind of bulk of the written portion of the QuestBridge application. And the same question that I had to answer is the same question they had for the last few years, including this year's. So in general, they want to know about the context in which you grew up, form your aspirations, and accomplish your successes. And they want to know about the factors and challenges in the student's life that have shaped them into the person they are. And so it's really a reformatting. I think I had a personal statement. It was not applicable to this question at all. I really like this prompt in general because it allowed in a free form to explain the progression of really how I'd gone through life and what made my background, what made my profile stand out, and why was I forced to be reckoned with in an academic and personal sense. And so in general, I mean, I have an excerpt from my actual essay just describing my experience going into high school and some of the difficulties I faced, both on an academic, personal, and financial level. And I think it was a really cohesive view and summary of who I was that showcased the QuestBridge, my unique circumstances and what I had gone through to get to the point where I was then. Okay, and then the last portion of the written application is the 500-word essay. And here you have options to choose from. So you can either talk about a concept, theory, or topic you explored that sparked your curiosity, an experience that changed your perspective or opinion, an aspect of your community you admired and wish to bring to your future college community, or talking about inclusivity and diversity and how you might have played a role in fostering inclusivity. So I wrote my essay about issues that were facing my community in general. So growing up in Queens, obviously, it is the most diverse urban region in the United States. And I always thought of it as a privilege to grow up in the borough. I was surrounded by people of various ethnicities, religions, and I think it's an opportunity that most people in the United States don't get. And it really keeps you on your toes, and it also allows you to broaden your horizons. And that was something I wanted to emphasize. Being from Queens is a privilege, and it's definitely a special part of who I am. And so that was something I wanted to focus on. And then describing the way I proceeded through this essay in particular was describing my experience growing up in Queens, how even though I'd met with people from different backgrounds, I was able to relate with them. And the fact that Queens posed this beacon, this model for diversity and inclusivity, how there were still issues in our community. And one issue that I had been particularly exposed to was gentrification. It was something my family went through personally. It was something my friends' families had also went through, being forced to move out of areas because of rapid development. It was something that was affecting a lot of the immigrant families, and still continues to affect many immigrant families in the borough. And this was obviously a much more serious topic, but I think it again showcased another aspect of my personality, of the circumstances in which I'd grown up, that I don't think I was able to reflect as well about in other aspects of the application. Okay, and so that concludes kind of the whole description of the written portion of the application. Now the remaining parts are just generally, for this part in general, is the school profile. So this is usually submitted by the guidance counselor of your high school, and they'll just go over what the school is, the emphasis of the school. So here you can see in the emphasis section that the report mentions that my school had an emphasis on American history and just describes like what that entails. You have, what college credits are available, what courses are offered, what are various clubs, activities, extracurriculars that are available at the school, sports programs, and then grades and courses, and generally kind of a grade distribution among students. You'll also have like information about class rank if your school does that. My school didn't, so that part was omitted. But yeah, this is the last part of the application I want to go over, and just wanted to bring to your attention follow-up resources if you want to learn more about QuestBridge. They host their own webinars about the college prep scholarship, about the National College Match Program that you can tune into on their website. There's also further resources and videos about the process and about how you can best advocate for yourself in the application and just getting a better sense of what the application stands for. These are both on the QuestBridge site, and then also on YouTube. There are many QuestBridge National College Match finalists who are accepted into schools and have posted videos on YouTube just reflecting on their experience. So there are 2 videos here I have links to that from students whose kind of experiences I'd like to hear about, and I really respected kind of the fact they're willing to post about their journey on YouTube. But that was my presentation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out. You can email me through my academic email, or you can feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. It was a pleasure being here, and I'm happy
Thank
to
you.
take any questions.
Yay, thank you so much. So you can go off the share screen right now so that we're good. Let's get out of the share screen quickly. Okay, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone, and thank you so much for participating in this webinar. I just want to be mindful of the time also, so that you know that as well, everyone. I really, really want to give you a sincere thank you for all of your hard work and all of your efforts and everything that you're doing right now. So I really do want to take a moment to say you have gone out of your way to share your wisdom with the participants. I do want to take a quick minute just to look at some of the questions quickly. I'm looking. How does it work with family income? Do you know like what the range is? I heard that they don't have a cutoff. Like you could have 100, 120,000 a year. I mean, I heard it could be like up there, but is there like a point where you think they're cutting it off?
Yeah, so the baseline they have is 65,000 for a family of four, with no other assets. I know that's kind of generally across the country, but I think they're pretty flexible if your family has more people, or if you grew up in a more expensive area of the country. I think that's something they're more receptive to. So you can definitely be over that amount.
That was the big question. And the other one, yes, there is a word limit. I want to just say yes for you. And then background information, they want to gather as much as they possibly can on you and about yourself. It's really important right now to really take a moment and to take a step back and to say, Raj, you are a super hero. Thank you for running this webinar. You've actually run this webinar multiple times. I just want to share, I am honored to know you since the 6th grade. I really got to watch the evolution of you going from teenager and adolescent and traveling and making a bold decision to go from Queens to the Bronx for high school, and making a decision to apply to QuestBridge in the first place, because 800 words would just send me like, I would be scared with such a huge essay. So I really just want to share that with you, that it's really an impressive moment. If everyone could please take a moment to type thank you into the chat box. It's something that we very much enjoy, is to give Raj a huge thank you. I also want to share with you the webinar is recorded, so we'll have that as well. I'm going to type thank you into the chat, and you know what, I'm going to do like a quick adjustment so we can all type quickly. All right, so everyone, you can chat, you can see it. We're going to say thank you. Thank you. There, I have that in. Raj, you really did an A+ job. Okay, super A+. Thank you to everyone. And this is a really special moment, and this is one of my favorite parts of the entire webinar, is that we all say thank you to Raj and we go off mute. And before we do that, I really want to take a moment to say, Raj, during a very solemn, tough time in history, you are the light. And we are so fortunate that you are sharing and propelling us to move forward and helping us become bigger and better and putting us in the right direction. Thank you so much for sharing. I also want to share with you the diversity of our environment. We are so fortunate right now. Thank you for this special, extremely special time in history. Someone's giving you a thumbs up right now. So I really just, who is that over there? I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for uniting, and thank you for being a beautiful uniter, because that is really, truly a gorgeous moment. And it warms my heart that from the time when you were 11, 12 years old, you have grown up. I really want to share. I can't believe I'm looking at you as a man. I saw you as a child, and you were this little kid on a scooter and running around Parker Towers and Forest Hills in this like rental unit. And I also want to share that I got emotional remembering that your parents have such humble beginnings, because it's really a blessing. Your parents have a card store and they're just hardworking and immigrants, and you really are the emblematic, you are the vision of the American dream. We are so blessed. We are so lucky. And oh my gosh, everyone loves you so much. They're even like typing in another language. Like, how cool is that? So I really want to share thank you, and watching you grow and watching you develop. And I even remember as a teenager, you broke your arm and your leg, and you still went to tutoring and you were still working. And it's just amazing to watch you grow up. I can't believe I'm looking at you as an adult. I'm actually in my mind remembering you as like someone 11, 12 years old. It's really like a very emotional moment. Everyone, let's take a moment and let's, I'm going to take everyone off mute to give Raj a huge thank you. So let's take it. Ready? We're going to count to 3 and we're going to say thank you. 1, 2, 3. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes,
Thank you, Raj.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for coming together. I want to also tell you, heartfelt, this truly puts a smile on my face to have this moment. Thank you so much, Raj. I needed a good smile, and I think a lot of us here needed it also, because we are really fortunate to have you, Raj. Thank you. Thank you for being the role model that you are and the person who you are, and for all the good work you do. I want to especially thank you for sharing your personal essay. Thank you for sharing your personal statement. Thank you for doing all that you do. It's a really big deal that you shared so much information with us. We're so lucky. Thank you, Raj. Everyone, this was a great presentation. This was an honest presentation. This is truly an amazing person, and I really needed some amazing tonight. So I want to say thank you. It is a big deal what you did. Should we never take for granted the hard work of the youth and what you are providing all of us with the wisdom. Good luck to everyone applying to QuestBridge. Please do not fear the application. Please do not fear this process. This is a very special time for you to, understand that this is not a scary application at all. So don't fear it. Don't worry about it. This is your chance. You're even getting hearts, emojis, happy hands. I think we all needed a little bit of good news today. So you really brought it in, Raj. You are the deliverer of good news. Can you believe it? All right. I'm so proud of you. And really, thank you for doing this from MIT. Wait, I cannot even believe. Raj, tell everyone, what year are you at MIT right now?
I'm a senior.
Oh, that happened so fast. Raj went from 11 to 21 in a heartbeat. So I just want to share with you, these 10 years went by really fast. All right. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you to everyone. I'm going to take screenshots of the thank you so that we all have a picture and a memory of this moment. I also want to remind you that Raj is a tutor at Kweller Prep as well. And if you want to hire him for any of your needs, he's available as well for some help with the, just college consulting. And in general, at Kweller, we run a variety of classes. So remember, you're supporting students like this. Please keep that in mind. Thank you to everyone. I'm really thankful for this moment of joy. To be quite honest, I needed it. So thank you, Raj. Thank you for this special, special time. Thank you to everyone for these good moments. All right, we're good. I'm going to log off in a moment. I'm just going to actually take some screenshots of the chat because I love having the thank you chats and I love having those memories on my phone. And it's a special moment. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of Raj. I can't believe you grew up. That's quite a moment for me. Okay. Wow, a million thank yous. Look at all this. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to everyone for coming together. Thank you to everyone who's participates in these webinars. And thank you to everyone who makes the effort to be here, to listen, the parents and the students. And here's to these very special times. Here's to appreciating these extremely special times, because we really need to remember that we need to cherish these moments. This is an incredibly special moment. Congratulations on your full scholarship to college, to MIT, to your success. Thank you for being the American dream. We are so fortunate that we had you hosting this. I just want you to know we do not take it for granted. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you provide and all the hard work that you do. All right, I'm going to be logging off. Everyone, I wish you peace and calm and zen. And remember, there are many people like Raj in this world. And I want to remind you of, okay, there are many, many, many people like Raj, because this is a future leader. This is a future example. And this is the person who is really going to lead the pathway and be the light of the world. We are so fortunate. Thank you for all that you do. Congratulations on your hard-earned college scholarship. Have a wonderful evening. I think we're done. We're wrapping up. Okay, you did a wonderful job. Thank you, Raj. Thank you for speaking. Good luck with your upcoming graduation this year. Farewell, everyone. Good night.